Hello and welcome back to The Sims 2. Today I'm bringing you another lot makeover and we're going to be looking at a quick renovation of the Pleasant family house. I'm saying quick because I'm bringing you guys the highlight reel of this project, but this house took me 8 hours to finish. 8 hours, I'm not joking. I'll tell you all about that in a minute, but here we are in the family home. The first thing I actually checked was the roof because I had this mod that made the roofs really bright. I took this out of my game, so it shouldn't be causing any more trouble. But yeah, this is the base game family home. It's kind of got this weird mixture of Tudor style with this church window that Lilith's room has for whatever reason. I don't know why. We changed that. Don't worry about it. If you wanted to see the full work in progress of this, I'm sorry. I just don't think anyone would enjoy watching an hour-long super sped up video of me changing the swatches of objects 20 times. I mean, you can let me know in the comments if you would, but I think this is a much more watchable alternative, so highlights it is. Okay. We're looking at the floor layout. This is how the house looks. I do change this up a little bit more than what I usually would do and what I've done with previous houses because I just felt like there were just so many strange angles and weird corners and so much unutilized space that was just empty and wasn't really creating an interesting atmosphere. So I do change up the space a lot because I did have specific plans for what I wanted to do for the girls' rooms. Okay. Some key notes about what I did with this house, and this is my general step-by-step renovation process. First, sell all the furniture. Second, change the layout if necessary. Pick windows and doors, exterior and interior walls and flooring. Then I would start furnishing each room, and the last thing I would do is landscaping and just finishing touches. So as you saw, the first thing I did was I got rid of most objects, windows and doors, flooring, and wallpaper. I always do this because it gives me the maximum amount of money I can use to give the house a complete makeover. Some families don't have a lot of money, like the broke family we did last time. They didn't have a lot of money even after I got rid of most of their objects because they're, broke. But the Pleasant family are really rich. They have a huge house, they have a lot of money, so they could afford a really nice renovation. I did end up giving the Pleasant family a little bit more money. I did cheat it just a teeny tiny bit. Listen, excuse me, I just wanted to specifically do this because I wanted to give them a really nice garden in the end. Anyways, moving on. The second thing, I changed the floor plan just ever so slightly, like you're seeing right now. I changed a little bit the flow of the kitchen and dining in particular. I just felt like the floor plan wasn't 100%. It wasn't perfect. Can the house be like a billion times better and amazing? Like, I can demolish this and create something completely different, but that's not the point of this renovation. The point is to make the most out of what the Max's crew did with this house initially. So I did switch up the layout just a teeny tiny bit. On the first floor, I gave Daniel a small exercise room, his own little man cave if you wish. That's such a weird thing to say, but essentially that's what it is. And I did tweak the kitchen and dining layout ever so slightly. However, I changed the second floor quite a bit more. I wanted Lilith and Angela to each have a private bathroom, and I made Lilith's room slightly bigger, and the old bathroom, which was on the second floor in the very front, I turned that into a small office for Mary Sue. I was contemplating whether I should make it into a shared walk-in closet for the two sisters, but I thought Mary Sue really needed her workspace, and I didn't want to add a desk into her and Daniel's bedroom because I did something different with that space. Of course, I had to put down a garage because Mary Sue needs a car, okay? She is a girl boss. In fact, she's the boss of all girl bosses in The Sims. So I think she absolutely needs her own ride. She needs to go and save the corporate world with her own Batmobile. I don't know. So yes, the car that I end up placing in front of the garage is hers. And Daniel, he can ride a bike to work. And I mean, he probably will because he's a really sporty sim. Daniel is, I believe, a coach or something like that. He's a really high in the athletic career. I think he's like level 8 or something. Very close to maxing out his career. So even though people always mention how Mary Sue is the one who's goal-oriented and an overachiever, Daniel is definitely no slacker. He is successful. He's just a sleazy cheat, so that kind of overshadows his good qualities. Do you guys believe that Daniel Pleasant can be redeemed? I mean, if he stops woohooing the maid and whoever else is breeding around him, do you think he can, like, be forgiven and have a comeback? Comment with your opinion, because I'd really like to hear it. Honestly, for some reason, I kind of have a soft spot for Daniel. I don't know why. Please don't judge. I think I think it might be because he's ginger. I think it might be because he's ginger. I don't know. I just really love redheaded Sims. Like, I really like them so much that I use the equal genetics mod because it's just that important to me that the redhead genes don't disappear after generations of mixing with brown and black haired Sims. No offense, I have brown hair in real life. I just don't want all of my neighborhoods to end up being all black haired Sims after a few generations down the line, which is what usually happens when you have the regular game genetics on. The Sims 2 genetics in general are probably the best of all games, though. Definitely the most realistic, I think. But I don't necessarily aim for maximum realism in this game. I know some people play with taxes, rigid rules, loans, spreadsheets. Girl, I can't. I can't. Let me have fun. This is a game with giant cow plants and men getting pregnant with green alien babies. These people don't need to think about taxes. They need to have fun. They need to have a good time. And die in mysterious missing pool ladder accidents and stuff like that. But anyways, let's get back to the Pleasant family build. As you can see, I'm decorating the dining room right now, and a lot of the house is very, it has a lot of Mary Sue's personality, so to speak. There's a lot of her, because she's Asian, there's a lot of her like little cultural East Asian sort of tidbits, like you have the bonsai tree in there, and I did use this pack, which I believe is like from the Sims store. I used a few items from that are Asian inspired. A lot of the color scheme I feel like is something that you would have picked, like the flow, the decorations, the furniture, and maybe that's why Daniel is like see, I like to question the stories. Like, when did the rift, when and why did the rift between Daniel and Mary Sue start? They're obviously both successful, so they definitely had like something in common going on. But when you start the game, they're not even in love with each other. They don't have even a crush on each other. They're married, but they're like acquaintances. And their kids are enemies. And they're both beefing. Like, both Mary Sue and Daniel are beefing with Lilith. They don't like her at all. I don't know, like, what happened there? And yeah, I feel like there's a lot of Mary Sue in the house. That's kind of how I thought of this house as I was making it. So it's very aesthetically pleasing. It is kind of classy. It's neat. It has a lot of white. Like, she's wearing white. She enjoys that color. It's bright and everything. And Daniel just has his little exercise room with all his little memorabilia from like his sports career and maybe his college days, like his diploma on the wall, because he studied sports and whatnot, and he was on every single team practicing every single thing. So yeah, he's like kind of in this little room that is his only space in the house that is entirely his own. So maybe he has like some sort of resentment or whatever. I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen to Daniel. We'll see if he can redeem himself and stop being an asshole. We'll see about that. Oh my god, I just remembered. I want to tell you guys about what happened to me the first time I played the Pleasant family. And I mean the first time. The first time, like back in 2004 when the game came out. Mind you, when the Sims 2 base game came out, I was still a small child, like single digits age or something, and I didn't understand English too well. By the way, if it wasn't obvious already, English is not my native language, so yeah. I didn't understand the game too well. I didn't really understand the mechanics. I didn't really understand everything that was written because it wasn't in a language I was familiar entirely with. And I had played the original Sims game, like Sims 1, before this one came out, but the two are so different. Like, unless you were there, like how many of you guys were there for the release of Sims 2? Because I feel like so much of the community, like a lot of people from the community joined from like Sims 3 and onwards. And now they're, of course, rediscovering the older games as well. But those of you who were there for The Sims 2, like, the improvements between The Sims 1 and The Sims 2 are insane. It's so difficult to top this change. But anyways, back to my little tangent about playing the Pleasant family for the first time. When I did play them back in the day, Lilith started getting in fights with the whole family, of course she did, and she ran away from home. I don't know if this is part of the scripted events, but yeah, she ran away from home. She was in a terrible relationship with everyone. And because I didn't know what to do, she ended up being gone forever. Like, forever, ever. Kind of like Bella Goth. I didn't know you should call the police and report her missing, so she stayed gone. She didn't, like, die. She didn't, like, her portrait didn't get grayed out or anything. She just stayed gone, and she never really showed up again. And I know now the teenage Sims that run away are supposed to show up on the lot, like, a day before their birthday, I believe. But something was definitely wrong with my game because Lilith never came back. Everyone else grew older in the household. Daniel became an elder. Angela became an adult, but Lilith was gone forever. It's just permanently gone and stuck as a teenager. So yeah, speaking of Lilith, we're in her room now, and the easiest thing I could have done with Lilith's room was make it completely black and grungy and gothy and whatnot, but I was like, I don't want that entirely. First and foremost, she doesn't have her own money, so she cannot really choose everything in her room. She is spoiled. Her parents are not like ignoring her, even though she's not in a great relationship with them. She is spoiled. She's treated well. They have money, of course. So they're not like gonna give her the ultimate goth mansion, even if she wants that. That's like the house next door. So she has like some color in her room. I really wanted to give it some more interest than just going plain black. It's just gonna be plain black. So I did go with some blues and some highlights here and there. This is Mary Sue's little office corner. It's an open space just in the landing of the second floor. Mary Sue's office is nothing too special. She just has a computer, a couple of files sitting on her desk. She has some stationery, she has a little bookcase, she has a printer that I imagine that she would be printing out any files that get sent to her, or she'll be working from home. And that's it. This is basically the entire interior done. And now I'm focusing on the garden. And I wanted, as I said, I cheated a little bit and gave them a little bit more money because I wanted to make the garden pretty. I wanted to give them a lot of landscaping, wanted to put a lot of shrubs, a lot of flowers, which those things are actually pricey. Like if you want to make a really nice lush garden, those things are pricey. And I could have done even more. Like I could have put more activity objects, I suppose. But I didn't. I kept it fairly simple. I didn't change the layout of the garden too much. I just put a lot of bushes, a lot of flowers. I layer a lot of objects into each other. I have the mod, or if I don't, I really need to download the mod that prevents flowers from decaying, because it's so annoying when you create these like super beautiful landscape gardens and then all the flowers die within like 3 days because your Sims are not watering them. It's super difficult to maintain a garden like this, even if you do hire a gardener, which I try to do for most of my families that can afford that, because it's such a hassle. It's such a hassle. I definitely need to get that mod if I don't have it in the game. I decided to put this little rock. I believe this is a conversion from The Sims 2, just next to the tree. And I thought like maybe this is a rock in a tree where the girls used to play a lot together when they were little. It's kind of like this little family memory, and they're not gonna get rid of it. They're gonna keep it like that. I did expand the pool just a little bit. I made it a little bit longer because I felt like this shape was slightly better. I don't know, it just looks better to me. As you can see in the back of the garage, I gave them a grill, but I didn't really put an outdoor dining table. They have this little table with the umbrella that's next to the pool, but they can't really sit and eat on that table because the chairs are like facing sideways. It's more of a decorative thing. But enough of me ranting. I hope I kept you occupied for like these 15 minutes of footage, because we are ready, we are done. I showed you basically the most interesting moments of the renovation, and this is it. This is the finished Pleasant family home. It felt really, really pleasant, for lack of a better word that's coming to my mind right now, to play with such a huge house, because the previous houses we did makeovers of were pretty tiny, and this one is very large. There's more Sims living in it, and there's just a lot more going on. And I'm giving you guys a top-down view of what I did as well, because I felt like you should check out how the layout turned out after I did little changes. Mornings at the Pleasant household start early for some people. Daniel is an active Sim, and even on his days off, he doesn't skip his regular workout. Meanwhile, Mary Sue is hard at work, studying for her next promotion. Yeah, she doesn't care, day or night, she's working. At the same time, in the living room, Lilith is watching a sports program. The TV is already on full blast, but so is another scandal brewing. I guess it's never too early to start arguing with your twin sister. Daniel can't be bothered though. He's not at work, but he needs to get neat because he's got an appointment with the maid later on. Lilith wants to have her morning toast, but she's not entirely too thrilled to see Angela already sitting in the dining room. Regardless, she gives it a try, and for a moment, just for a teeny tiny moment, it almost seems like they're about to have a civil conversation. Until they start arguing again, and of course, Angela immediately leaves the table. You know, she'd rather go upstairs to her room and talk to the ants? The ants, Angela? Really? Okay, it's fine. Do you? And she has to get ready for school too. It's not that easy being the cutest teenage girls in all of Pleasantview. But what's that noise across the hall? Oh yeah, it's Lilith practicing on her bass. While Angela prides herself on being the cutest, Lilith loves being the loudest and rowdiest teen of them all. Mary Sue is heading off to save the corporate world. The twins will be heading to school, and the house will be all Daniel's for the afternoon. For him and the attractive French maid, that is. I hope you enjoyed this lot renovation. Subscribe if you want to see more Sims 2 videos, and I'll see you soon. Bye!
Cram Nupla.
Metallic
Full
crown.
sleepy. Huh?